All right, I think we are live. Let me just make sure this is all working correctly, and we will get started here. All right, cool. So I'm your host, Nate Millett. Thank you for joining me. This is our last session of the evening. I decided to do another one with the foliage because that's really some of the most fun you can have when you put a lot of details into the environment here. So we're going to put some foliage in here and make some cool custom procedurally generated areas. I'm going to figure out how to do that as well. It's usually something you can do within the engine themselves. So stick with me, give me a second, and we'll get going here, and should have some fun. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but my scene should be switching now. I downloaded a scene switcher. I'll just pull it up and show you what that is. It's called Advanced Scene Switcher. And then if you go into it, there's a region area, and then I can just set parameters here, which is pretty cool. So when I go over here, I go there automatically and it switches that screen. So solves the problem. Oh, and you saw that in between scene, that's like when it's not in the parameter. So I have to figure out a way to have like a dead space area. Maybe I'll make the left top like dead, and then it will go to the triple one. So yeah, I'm not gonna mess with that right now though. I'm just gonna focus more on the stream right there. See there? Oh, there it is. I just have to go way to the left and it works. All right, good to know. Looks like I can go about halfway to the left and only give me 3 screens, so I still have to tweak that a little bit. But you can see how cool this feature is. I don't know. I don't have to worry about switching it anymore, which was one of the biggest problems I had, and when I was working on stuff. So let's go ahead and get started here on this. Minimize this stuff and make room for. Oh, okay. Let me just close that. Make sure it's still working. Make sure we're still streaming here. And let's see where we are in the stream. And it looks like it is streaming what we want. Yeah, so we're good. Cool. So to set up a foliage scene, or scenes, I should say, there's a lot of ways to do it. You know, with me just looking at the controls, it seems pretty straightforward here. We can just add a bunch of foliage to the hierarchy here, and then what it'll allow us to do is just kind of disperse that based on the amount of stuff we've chosen here. So there's a lot of stuff that's been imported already, and I'm just gonna add a bunch of random stuff right now, and we're just gonna see how it works. And I don't know if I did delete everything, so I'm not sure if these numbers need to be reset. That for the stuff I've or what's happening there. But I did delete those, so hopefully those will not take up space and not be visible, because that would be wasted. All right, let's get some rocks. Again, I'm just picking random stuff that I think would be fun to diversify the spread of this, and yeah, it should be cool. So I didn't really do anything with the water yet, but I did also realize that you can affect the water in a few different shaders, so I was messing with the wrong shader. So we'll have to mess with that after we get some foliage in place here. But let's go ahead and just start placing some random stuff down here. Lasso, and then paint. So I know with the paint, usually you can just pour it on an item here, but I don't know if I'm just because I'm filtering out that. Yeah, I'm not sure. But you can see as I do this, I can just add stuff along the edge here. And okay, for some reason it's still only adding the old stuff, so let's figure out what's going on here. I think I have to reset it. Let's just go ahead and delete all these and start over. Oops, no, what's that? That's not what we want. Let's pick some flowers here. I'm just double clicking where I feel like it. It's pretty fun. Get some reeds in there and taro plants. Get trees. There's a fern we can add in. That actually looks like a palm. I wonder if I can add more than one at once. I don't think I can. No. And how about a few more? Maybe like another rock or something. And then maybe a couple more bushes here. Let's add another bush. Randomize it. On a bush, a bush. We'll do number 3 here. And a couple more trees, and then we'll see what happens when we start laying this stuff out. Okay, it shows a tropical one. Okay, I did something before to enable the placement of it. How do I enable this? Oh, maybe I actually have to check it on. That's what it is. I forgot about that. That's why it wasn't working. If you don't check it on, it doesn't work. Okay. There we go. Whoa. Oh, man. Okay, so we definitely want to bring the brush size up. Probably would fix that. And then also the paint density down. So I'll bring this down and this up. And let's see what that does for us. Just on this one thing. Wow, that's still so much. Okay, so what if I bring this barely... Oh, you know what? Maybe I have to bring it up. Oh, no, that is even worse. We have too much stuff here? Or what's going on? I guess I've added way too much things for one paintbrush. And to be honest, not all of them are even worth it. So let's go ahead and delete the stuff that doesn't look good. Anything that doesn't move shouldn't be added, in my opinion. Should have some stuff. Alright, so that's not bad. That's actually better. So I just want to make it kind of like scatter. I guess what I can do here is just scatter random spots of this along the shore here. Like this looks like a really good place to have a bunch of stuff here. And we'll just add little forests in here. So it's pretty dense jungle. And then maybe we can figure out ways to make it less scarce. The only thing though, that's a little bit too much though, you know what I'm saying? Even though it would look cool if you can... I mean, if I just click a little bit, it only adds a little bit at a time. I guess that's nice. This is when you move it around. It's super sensitive. And you can see those reeds are... those reeds are out of control. But let's just try to give our hill here some... Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm going to start over, or actually probably take out the reeds here, if that's what's doing that. No, I'm not really sure actually what is creating all those. Oh, it must be this one. Yeah, that's what it is. It was because we were using a grass. So that was another mistake we made. So now it shouldn't be as dense, and it looks better now. So the question just comes in, like, what kind of plants do actually seem like they're in the natural habitat here? Because I just picked an assortment of random ones, and I'd like to actually try to keep it make sense for the ecosystem it's in, or not the ecosystem, the environment. But I really like this part because it kind of creates the gameplay jungle feel that you're going for, and then we can hide like shacks and buildings into this if we were going to create some kind of gameplay on this hill. I'm still not sure. I still want to flatten out a lot of this stuff, so we're going to do a lot with the landscape, but again, I'm just having a little fun with the foliage right now. And the new engine, appreciating it. So I don't know if I want all that. I like kind of a little burst better than the actual big foresty areas. And then we can put little encampments. So what I usually do is, like, when I'm picking or I'm choosing areas to put something, is you kind of put what would be called in real life like a footprint down of where somebody's been, right? And so, but before I do that, I probably would want to plateau it first. So I don't want to do this too drastically. I want to slowly plateau it out so it's not super obnoxious. So let's just try this a little bit, and as long as we stay in the same place and then we smooth it out, it should be fine there. Alright, so just made a little bit, and yeah, I did create a lip for us, but now we'll just go back in and smooth it down, and I'll bring the strength way down and this way down, and the fall off I don't think matters here. And we'll just kind of smooth the edges out. So there's two steps. The first step is fixing the land to make sense for some kind of road or something that's been here. And then the next thing is to actually change it from the grass, which is why I like to try to start with a grassy hill like nature would have it, and then take away, versus adding grass in areas. That to me seems like it'd be more realistic if there was such a thing. Alright, so we'll go into paint now. And again, this we'll use the wet puddle, and I'll just... The middle will make it pretty much all the way, right? Because there's no... And then we'll try to bring it way far down and this up more as we get to the edges. Well, that's still pretty strong, so I don't know if there's a way to make it even weaker than that. I guess if I just lightly click it, and it doesn't really do much though. You have to hold it down for it to actually make a difference. Well, it doesn't really matter. We can figure that out later. The cool thing is that now we have kind of a little platform for some kind of man-made structure in this area. And we can take some of the stuff we've been working on in the existing staging level. I haven't really thought about how I'm going to make the volcano. And again, we can go up the summit just by zooming up here. We always have to make it... We have to smooth all this out up here, and then we have to indent, make it go in, and then have some steam and lava shooting and all kinds of fun things coming off of it. And I also realized that this is not really centered, so I might actually want to move this over a little bit, or figure out a way to make that work better for us. But you can see just from way up here, the small little area where we just created that little patch. And so that really gives you a scale of the map of the stuff you can do with this, and then how we can create an environment where people can kind of run around in a large scale. So I'm going to try to eye out this, like, that shouldn't be too hard, and then we'll just, but it is in the water though. Oh. All right, where is our jungle sanctuary here? All right, cool. So there you have it. We have a little spawn point, and you're looking up the mountain, and we'll eventually make like some way to get up there and things along the way to conquer to get to the top here, and it should be pretty fun. And maybe instead of having this like a island where everything's circular, maybe what we can have is like 3 encampments coming from the center, left, and right, and then there's no way for the encampments to get, like, maybe there's like a big something separating them, right? Whatever that may be. I don't know. I mean, to be honest, this seems like this would be good just for a single player level if you were just conquering something, but I also think you can make something here, and you can make some kind of gaming system depending on how big you make the map. And really that's what it comes down to, is the scale of the map and then how many people can fit on it so they feel like they're in their own space. And for me, that's just my opinion coming from playing games online and just understanding the scale of them after using them and then trying to make them myself. So something to think about. So let's go ahead and just add something in here. And as I said before, I wanted to, let's see, log me in, and hopefully this doesn't show any of my credentials since I can't hide it anymore. Go to here. All right. Oh, all right, well, yeah, I don't want to do that. I was controlling, I want to go to my server right here. So I pay about $400 a year for this service to log me in, but it gives me access to, from, you know, different areas, from like my home studio to the actual office studio where I run my servers, and we can set up a lot of stuff and test stuff there. And so I haven't tested any of the gameplay or hosting any proxy servers or anything that's going to allow for us to enable some kind of centralized system yet. I'm mostly just going in here to pull assets that are in the office. We have a bunch of terabytes that I haven't really uploaded to our main server yet. A couple decades worth of stuff in my life. So I just have to take time to do that, and that's something that I can't rush. And so for now, when I gather assets, I'm going to be gathering from there, from Google Drive, and from the stuff I collect as we go and create things. And yeah, it should be a lot of fun, and that's why I got into this. I enjoy 3D and creating experiences like this, and I'll get through the blueprint stuff. Even though I was swearing at the blueprint thing earlier, it really is just a silly little mistake. You just gotta get used to the workflow of it. But anyways, I come in here, and this has all my credentials and stuff saved, which is good. And then I'm in my drive here, and then we have a NAS server here with a bunch of assets that we can save out, but for now I'm actually just going to go into check on something real quick. See, every time it saves, I don't know if you saw that over here, every time it saves the game, it does something interesting with the landscape there. But let's go back over here. And oh, that's actually not the right one. And so I what I want to do is actually go into my, oh, okay. So I don't know if you can tell, but this is a server, and then this is patched into another server. So if I minimize this screen, this is actually a different server here. So so it should be able to here and you know, I'm not going to look for that stuff right now. I'm just going to use what we have here just for the sake of keeping things easy for the stream. So I will go ahead and just didn't want to share that. Go ahead and just close that stuff out. So a shack would be really cool right here. I don't know if we have any shacks yet, though. I think we're still working on. All right, let's go ahead and save that. And I thought I copied all the objects into it, but I don't know if it worked. I think I actually have to select the objects in this. I thought I could click the folder and it would do it. So what can we bring in that would make sense? Not our windmills. I mean, windmills are just... But you know what? Maybe... You know what? I'm going to try this. I'm going to retry the blueprint thing just to redeem myself. And maybe we'll have something cool happen here. Alright, so we got our objects. It was interesting. It did save our objects for us. And then I got our windmill, which is up on the hill. That's awesome. I don't know why there'd be a windmill in this game level, though. I'm just not sure if I actually downloaded a shack yet. So let's look for a shack, huh? Not too shabby. My man. So the screen switcher thing, assuming it's working good, is pretty awesome. I don't have to worry about switching it anymore, which is cool. I'm all about that. Alright, well, I don't recommend doing what I just did, dropping it all on the desktop there. I just... that's what that did. But I didn't have a folder set up yet, which I probably should have just dropped it in there. So, but it's okay. Not a big deal. We'll move it in a second. Let's go ahead and add shack. Shack. Shaquille O'Neal. Alright, now we're in here. Gonna drag in that. Bring it over. Okay. Oh, this... Why would the shack have animation on it? Oh. That's why you kind of have to open up the FBX. Otherwise, you may be importing more than you wanted to. But great model. Looks like they did it correctly, so it's cool. Let's check out the animation on this. Let's see what it would be. Oh. What just happened there? Did I move the starting point accidentally? No, why is it doing that? You know, whenever I add stuff and it's a collider issue, that's usually the case. Or whatever it's called in here. Alright, no, it just was acting weird. Maybe it's because I was dropping it right in... Oh, what's that? Alright. Oh, okay. Oh, so it's like a windy shack. Interesting. Does anything else move on it? We got that one door. Anything else? Let me see. Alright, well, might as well use the animation if it's looping for us. Might as well use it to its full potential, right? So we all know how this goes. Let's see how fast I can do this real quick. It'd be cool if you could just drag all four of those onto this and it would know how to add them, you know, like line them up. That'd be awesome. But you probably would have to name it the right way for it to like recognize the file that it's receiving. Occlusion, and it's going to be roughness. All right. First texture, let's see how it looks. Oh, that's our door. Cool. A little door flapping. What is that, like a skinny little tunnel? But you can see the texture in the wood looks pretty good. Excellent. Models like these deserve to be seen, especially when they're free. Free models that look this good deserve to be put in a game. Alright, this one's gonna be roughness. I guess the way to tell between the two, now that I think about it, is the two whites. You can see the ambient occlusion only gets the edges versus this gets the whole object, so that's why that... So sometimes you can't tell, but here you can actually tell the difference. That's definitely ambient occlusion. Metallic. And let's apply that. Alright, so I don't think that animates, but not too bad. Alright, so let's just get the rest of this going for us. What's a Corsair? I think this was a Russian model when I first saw it, so I guess we'll figure out what it is when we model the part. I'm guessing it means roof. This one is normal. Metallic. Yeah, it's got to be the roof. So why else would we be adding metal? Oh, it wasn't. It was that floor or something. Oh, weird. So maybe means matte. roughness, and we got ambient occlusion and normals. Boom. So I'm getting faster at it. This one actually has a lot of different materials, more than I thought it would. And also I realized just by looking at the textures I could see what it is right here. I was looking down here the whole time. Alright. Last but not least, once you start on remembering the order in which they come in, it's pretty easy to just know, or second nature, where to put them. And so I'm getting faster at this. Let me go ahead and just close. Yes. Let me check my. Let me see how hot my CPU is getting here. Okay, so it's pretty cool. It's not working hard at all. Excellent. Okay, so that is our shack. That, do we really need? Oh, that's cool though. They got the inside model there. It's a nice little touch. So probably won't use the animation there. You can probably just freeze it with it open or something cool there. But maybe what we can do is put like a flame and fire in there or something for making it moving around, if we were to keep it in that motion, or even keep this shack here. So that's just a little example of something we added on the hill, and obviously every little area needs a bunch of stuff there to bring it to life. And by importing a bunch of assets and placing them in an area, we can create environments for people to run around in, which is pretty cool. And it looks good at the same time. So I hate to ruin all these grassy hills, which look great, but we do need to make a camp around here, or we need to make an encampment for people to run around and do stuff. So I guess it's going to have to be destroyed a little bit and remodeled. But once we use the height map, we basically just use the custom modeling to create these areas to where we can add things. Okay, so let's make another little one right here real quick. And I bet this one we can get away with just doing this. We don't have to flatten. It looks pretty flat right there. It's a little patchy area, and I know it's pretty rough. You definitely want to make it fade more, but I want to establish base areas ahead of time, so that I know how to respond to them with the programming and stuff. As we go, it's actually too much. I don't know, it really depends on what we're going to put there. I'm just kind of scouting out things that we can do. But I will tell you that the when the shaders crank, my computer is definitely starting to feel this project. This is the first time since I've built this that I actually feel like this is a level worthy of what this computer wants to eat up. Even if, and this is not a it's a 99. It's a nice. It's great for this kind of stuff. But there are faster machines out there capable of creating stuff even faster and more stable than this. But this is good for me. This was a good build. This build itself, I think, I reused some stuff in it, so I saved some money. But the most expensive part was obviously the CPU and the motherboard and the RAM. But besides that, everything else can just be reused. So what else can we do? I mean, we can continue adding some trees here. And again, remember, we only focused on this little lake area. I didn't really texture the rest of this yet. And, you know, maybe we'll put some kind of basin here. Or I feel like this should be a jungle floor here. And this is where we'll have some interesting stuff happen to somebody when they reach this point. So I'll just start painting in here and seeing if that affects it. Go. It has to compile the shader. But also, I think it would make sense to flatten the floor to the different textures and stuff. So that doesn't look that good at all. So maybe not hold off on that. Maybe flatten out areas and then texture it as I'm going along there. To be honest, just scattering everything with grass, in my opinion, is the best way to start, and then leveling out and then figuring out ways to take away from that for like interactives is the best way. It's gonna take a lot of memory and compute power, but I mean, that's the thing. The thing is, like, all these little things move, so that's what really, in my opinion, makes this engine good in terms of how it looks. I mean, you can really see what we've done in just a day, just from reusing some stuff that we found on the internet and some resources. And this is the fun part, and then programming and the interactions are fun too, but that's when it really gets into the tedious kind of like lots of scripts that do things and sequences of events, and then storylining, and then of course we would want to bring in some animations and some animated scenes, which for the most part you could do that in here, but I also like the idea of like using After Effects to bring some cool stuff in, some video sequences. So we'll have to figure that out when we get to it. So now let's do a little bit more sculpting over here. And let's just bring this way down right here. I just want to see what happens if I go like that. So this is a fun way to sculpt into the mountain without causing too much damage right here. Right? So I made it really small, and I'm just making a shelf that we can put probably some kind of encampment or something, or maybe a lookout. I'm not really sure yet, but it's not causing too much damage to the environment, and made this interesting little shelf here. And then, you know, obviously that's a little bit too harsh for us, so we got to come back down and just click a little bit away here and just take off the sides so it's less drastic. And then this is where you would come in here and maybe put a little cliff texture in, but I don't necessarily think this cliff texture looks too good. It's way too well, I guess if you can texture it correctly, it'll look all right. Just takes a few times going back and forth, really. But now we have a cliff on the side of the hill, which looks like it was. And I would also come back in here and do a little bit more stuff with the side of this. Oops, that is the wrong one here. I'm just trying to make it less noticeable. So what I would like to test out is if what angle, usually in these kind of games, there's a certain angle that the player controller can't, you know, walk up, or they have to go around, and that would be measured by the angle, not by the actual texture. So all this looks like a cliff that you couldn't get up. If the player controller is allowed to walk up that, it would ignore the texture. Obviously, that's just the look and the feel of it. But yeah. So one thing I need to add to our little paint profile here is I do need to add some kind of road or trail, dirt trail that isn't this wet one. Because all I really have right now is this wet puddle one. And I don't know why it's not showing up. Come on, come on. What's going on here? Paint, paint. Is it too small? Or does that have to compile again? But I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make a bunch of little shelves here. And maybe these will be lookout points or something that players will be able to assess locations and scout and do kinds of fun stuff. But again, I'm trying to figure out why this is not working for us. Here, let's try the jungle one. So it's having issues with switching over, and that could just be a performance thing here. Let me just do a quick reopen, see if that fixes it. All right, so we don't save that. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's go in here and just click wet puddle. Alright, I'm not sure what's going on here. Does it work over here? I mean, I'm pretty sure it has to compile the shader. I have to, like, it has to be able to switch over, but yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. It could just be something weird with the engine or my settings, or who knows. All right, let's just try reopening Unreal. I don't know if that's going to fix it, but I just want to see what happens. Yeah. I think memory-wise, it should be able to handle this. I am going to get 64 gigs. I'm going to get another 32 of this G.Skill, even if I don't overclock it. And so I'll have 64, so that should be plenty of RAM for asset creation, because I'm pretty sure that's a lot of what would be holding up this computer from accelerating better. Okay, we've got our shack here, and let's go ahead and open up our staging again. Is this still streaming? Oops, that's not it. Alright, looks like we're still streaming and the switching works, which is cool. Can't beat the auto switching. So, it's 12:30. I'm probably going to stream for another 10-15 minutes. And then I'm going to call it a night. I got an online conference tomorrow I have to attend. Okay, so that's good. It looks like it's building something. And let's just go ahead and say yes to opening that stuff up. And then we'll go to the volcano. First we'll let it fix whatever broke here. And let's see here. Alright, there's our windmill. Okay, I see that. I wonder what that's all about. If that's normal, if that's just a I think that might be something with my hardware. Okay, so we'll go on the volcano now, and we'll just leave that as is. And let's try one last time to get our paint tool to respond to us here. There we go. Yeah, so it was just a performance thing, as you saw. And so, again, I don't necessarily want to do too much effort with this because this is pretty drastically changing. It doesn't look that good. You don't want to have drastic stuff like that, but I am just emphasizing areas that I'm going to place stuff in, and then we'll go back in and we'll touch it up, and we'll add stuff around it to make it like a little bit more cluttered. But because, you know, it looks pretty cheesy when you have dirt top and then cliff side. It doesn't look that good. But it does give me, you know, ideas to create like landmarks. So I would maybe think there's like some kind of watchtower up here that overlooks the lake that you could run up to, and so we'd have to make some kind of trail that comes down this way, and then have it run down. Yeah. I mean, I also think if you're going to use the cliff here, fall off all the way up and brush size up pretty good, and then just kind of scattered in places that are steep like that. But even that, I don't know if it looks the best. I don't know if that's great. I just am a big fan of this the grass. We can also add our own too. This is just default stuff, and so maybe we'll do another episode. Yeah, I don't really like how I like it. Maybe a little bit towards the water, but for the most part, I want this to be grassy to the edge. I think that gives it a cool kind of rolling hill effect. So maybe take some away down there. I also want to do have a sand layer here, so we can make like a beach fill and fix that. And then as for this stuff under the water and the water itself, that's something that we have to fix. This is just something we borrowed from we need to fix the color of it so it's a different color, and also make it so it is really slow and steady, because you can see the actual water there against it, but then there's this other blue layer below that, which is another layer. It looks like a separate shader that is ruining that shiny top. You can't really, it kind of, and maybe we just have to tweak that in some way. All right, so let me see here. I just like making these little islands. That's like the easiest. It's the most gratifying thing in a landscape. I think as a modeler, a landscape modeler, is making little things like that. In my opinion, it's like equivalent to like peeling the tape off of something new, or the plastic cover. you're creating something new for the first time. So again, the way I would do this is just flatten an area. I just want to make sure I'm doing it well. And again, I'm not messing with anywhere else. I'm just focusing this little area here. So I wonder how. So usually, I'm going to sculpt again, and I forgot this is to go up, down here, and this down. All right, what's a clay brush all about? I don't know. I'm just not going to use it. So usually, you can create. If you're going to create a path, right? You want to kind of create the thing that is going to level it out. But also, you got to think about that the way it flattens is not going to always flatten the same place. So what you probably want to do is you're going to probably want to flatten stuff out in an area, and so that you don't want to do that because that ruins that really nice hillside. So I don't want to do that. I want to just create very light. Even that's not good. So flatten. Oh, okay. So intervals. All right. So I think the big thing is anytime you get a steep hill like this, you gotta assume that you're gonna mess a little bit of it up to make it work here. And so I'm just gonna kind of ruin that, and this is one of those things where I want to use the dirt as just a reference of what I'm gonna mess up here. So hopefully our shader plays nice now. All right. Come on, buddy. You can do it. Alright, well, I gotta figure out why the shader, or the tool stops working. I mean, this is heavy, but it must just be something with my hardware here. Or my graphics card. Maybe my graphics card isn't good enough for this, which would make sense. It's an older one. I wonder if I just turn this off and on. Maybe play and unplay. Interesting. Alright, for now let's just put the landscape back to what it was, because I don't like leaving it all chunky if I can't do something with it. But it looks like it is compiling the shaders that we were trying to do there, so I have a feeling it's just a matter of this keeping up. So now it should work there. So yeah, we're just compiling this, so see if that fixes anything for us, and we should be able to use it now, unless that's not working anymore. Alright, come on. Alright, well, clearly either my hardware is still not powerful enough for this, or there's something going on here that's stopping me from being able to do a simple task. So, just like I said before, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm just going to save this out and probably call it on this stream, and then we can come back to this another time once I get it working. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in and joining me. This is Nate Miller from DigiFX, and this is some Unity or Unreal development. I'm sorry, it's all the U software in my life. Just I mix it up. But Unreal development, Unreal Engine 4, and we'll look at just placing some random foliage that we just predetermined through the brush pack, and then just adding it to our height map we generated here. So pretty cool level creation, a lot of fun, and I look forward to showing you guys what we do with this in the upcoming months. Catch you later.